All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So I was actually checking out the available free agent list a couple days ago, and things haven't changed. There are a ton. There's still a ton of free agents out there that could benefit this Jets team, could benefit tons of teams out in the NFL right now. It's actually pretty surprising. Typically around this time, late June, early July, we have like two or three names that I think teams are monitoring, and hey, maybe we could bring this guy in for a cheaper contract, but we might have like a small bidding war on our hands like a couple days before training camp or something like that. But this go round, I mean, man, there is a handful of, in my opinion, not necessarily top 10 guys at their position or anything, or like major impactful pieces, but just those glue guys to help fill in the cracks of a roster. Let's go through some of these names. I mean, there's a lot of names on this list that I actually feel like would help this Jets team. You got Zadarius Smith, Jadeveon Clowney, Amari Cooper, Gabe Davis, Julian Blackmon, Keenan Allen, Mo Hurst, Raekwon Davis. You also have Quandre Diggs out in the open market as well. Nice combo safety. If you need a free safety, he could fill that void. If you need a strong safety, he could do that as well. But those are just guys that I feel like make sense for the Jets. We're not talking about Justin Simmons. We're not talking about Asante Samuel. Like, there's a good amount of talented players still out on the open market. And for context, the Jets right now have $36 million in available cap space, which is top 5 in football. So, and this is something that we've talked about, but man, like, if the Jets go out, if news breaks in 20 minutes tomorrow, next week, that the Jets are signing Zadarius Smith, Jadeveon Clowney, Julian Blackmon, 1 year, $6 million. 1 year, $4 million with incentives, 1 year, $8 million. That's not really going to impact anything. Now if you start throwing out multi-year deals, okay, that's one thing. You're impacting the future. But, man, like I really would be intrigued if I'm Darren Muji. Now, I do feel like the overall maybe sentiment is, okay, let's get to training camp. We have a young team. We've gone through voluntary OTAs. We've gone through minicamp. These guys are trying to learn the system. They're trying to buy into the culture. They are buying into the culture here. Let's not make a radical move right now. Let's wait until maybe a couple days into training camp, a week or two into training camp. I think a lot of teams have this, idea or mindset as well. But let's just see where everyone's at. Like, who knows how things are going to play out? Maybe you have an injury that opens up a need. Maybe you feel pretty good about a position today, but once training camp starts, it's like, whoa, hold on a second. We actually could use some help here. Maybe you could find yourself in a situation where, for example, like wide receiver 2, it's like, Amari Cooper or Gabe Davis, one of those guys would be nice on a cheap deal. But then once training camp starts, Tyler Johnson's catching everything being thrown his way. Or Josh Reynolds is getting in the end zone every single training camp practice. He's put moves on defenders. He's looking like he's found like the fountain of youth. He looks amazing. And it's just like, whoa, good thing we didn't go out and spend money on Amari Cooper or, again, Gabe Davis or something like that, because Josh Reynolds is actually impressing it, and he looks really, really good. D-tackle, you can make that same argument, right? A couple of veterans that the Jets brought in. Does someone stand out? Does the entire room disappoint? I think we're going to have to, I wouldn't be shocked if the Jets or, another team out there makes a free agent signing within the next couple of weeks. But I do feel like we're going to see these guys start to fly off the board in the first 2 or 3 weeks at training camp, like rapid fire wise. So anyway, quick little video here. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Is there one guy that you're maybe one or two guys that you're maybe looking at saying, just get it done. Let's not overthink it. Let's just bring this guy into the locker room and just feel good about it. Even in the case of like Zadarius Smith, Jadeveon Clowney, with Jermaine Johnson coming back from the Achilles, with Zadarius having kind of that former working relationship with Aaron Glenn. Could that make sense? And by the way, Zadarius Smith looked pretty good for Detroit in that second half of the season when they acquired him. For what was asked of him, I thought he produced. Like, that would be a pretty, like, does that hurt the team in any way? If the Jets go out and sign against Zadarius Smith or take your pick on any of these guys, is the team getting worse? I think you can argue it would be getting worse if we commit to a multi-year deal, 2 years, $20 million. Okay, now we have $10 million going to the player next season. You could have a solid argument there, but if it's just a 1 year deal, and we have money to spend, that money isn't going anywhere. I really think it would be in the best interest of this Jets team to bring in at least one more piece, whether it's today, tomorrow, or in the thick of training camp. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. Enjoy your weekend. And as always, go Jets.